This is a confounding problem. I went to start the boat a couple of days ago and I got nothing but a click. And of course, both batteries are fully charged. And I, checked battery voltage. That was okay. I checked and cleaned the contacts. You can see that this is a brand new battery here, and that one is only a couple of years old, and they were both in great shape. I thought for sure that the problem was a ground, so I did the engine ground, which was on the back of the engine. Of course, everything is tight over here, and the engine ground, let me see. The engine ground is right there. So, and of course, I took that apart, I cleaned everything off, and I put it all back together again. I'm going to yet spray it with fluid film in order to protect it. And then the starter is here. This is the solenoid, and this is the starter. And in order to get to it, of course, you got the ignition wires. I've got those up out of the way. There's two water hoses, one from the seawater over here, the seawater pump over here that come across, and another one that was, of course, none of that stuff wants to come apart, but I managed to finally work it free and get it the heck out of the way. This is another thing. I'll tell you about that project some other time, but there are two bolts. There's one right here. This is right up against this wall. And I have tried every which way from Wednesday to get this thing off of here. And then there's another one up underneath here that bolts upward into the engine to hold the thing in place. And those are the only two bolts that hold the starter on. I understand also that it weighs about 20 pounds or more, but I cannot get this bolt off of here. You can't get a socket on there because there's not enough clearance between the back side of the bolt and this part of the engine casing. This is plastic, incidentally, and then there's metal on the other side of it. So, I mean, I've tried, you name it, I've tried everything. The latest and the greatest is that I took an old wrench that I had. It turns out also, incidentally, people were saying this is 14 millimeters. It's not 14, at least not on my boat. This was 1/2 inch, which is, I don't know, around 12 millimeters. But 12 millimeters is a little sloppy, and I was worried about rounding off the bolt. So I ended up with an old wrench, a 1/2 inch wrench, and I ground, let me see. So I ended up taking an old wrench, this is a 1/2 inch, and grinding the outside diameter off of the wrench so that it was very thin, and I could fit it over that bolt. And still, with all my might and putting another wrench on the end of this, I could not break that loose. So what I'm next going to try, if I look back at the way that this thing is set up, those bolts are quite long, and I'm thinking that I'm going to try to heat. There's plastic here for the solenoid, and there's plastic, there's wiring, there's plastic on the face of this thing. So you can't really use a torch in here. Plus, of course, this is an engine. So I have a heat gun. I'm going to try heating this and also getting some PB blaster in there, and then muscling it again. But I'll tell you what, I'm at wit's end about what to do, how to get this thing off of there. So anyway, That's my quandary. I don't know.